Look, I understand we need to use hyperbole to get people to click on our stuff, but guys, this is a lot. So Tales of Berseria was just announced as the next Tales remaster. Tales of Berseria being a game that came out in 2016. Like, I remember when that came out, and it released on Windows. All of a sudden, you get people like coming out of the woodwork talking about how angry they are that this was the next Tales of Remaster. I mean, the titles are like, this remaster isn't what we wanted, what a joke, the community is torn apart about this, Bandai Namco are back on their bullshit. I saw one that was like saying this was wicked and evil, but I can't find it, so just take my word on that. I mean, I made a whole video about how unhappy I was that the next Tales remaster was the Xillia remaster, because I prefer the much older style of Tales games and wish they would just do that instead of constantly, quote, remastering this modern stuff. But I mean, this one makes sense. It was already on Windows, so it's not even technically a remaster. The reason Xillia pissed me off so much was because Xillia was a game that was locked on the PS3. There are a lot of really great Tales games that are trapped on old consoles that you literally cannot play anymore unless you still have the console and you still have the games. But like, checking out the trailer, it just kind of seems like a no-brainer. This is probably the least amount of effort they could possibly have to put out a new game in a timely fashion. And it's not like it's just the base game again. So like any other remaster, there's a variety of quality of life updates. Destination icons, the ability to toggle encounters on and off. That was a popular one they did in Graces, which I think is a good idea. I mean, hey, why not? If you don't want to fight a bunch of easy enemies, just turn it off, especially in a game like Berseria where you're doing a lot of walking from point A to point B and then back and forth and back and forth. Early grade shop access is always a cool thing. I also don't know this. Do they give you grade to start with? Well, I would assume so, right? What's the point of giving you the grade shop early if you don't have any grade to use in the grade shop? I don't know. Yeah, you get your super growth support herb set and all these items you get to start with. And they're testing compatibility for the Nintendo Switch too, so don't you worry.
Nice.
It seems to me, hey, if Berseria was your cup of tea, this is a pretty cool way to get it, but I mean, calling this a remaster is kind of stretching what we can call a remaster. I'm not seeing anything that's like crazy or out of the ordinary here that would warrant it being called a remaster. It's just like this is more like a bundle. But again, as I said, I think at least it's more content in the series. Like, one of the comments that I got a lot on the video that I made when I was bitching about how much I was unhappy that Xillia was the next remaster was there was a lot of people saying, hey, at least it's content. At least it's something for this series that is so niche now. Yeah, at least it's something. And I gotta agree with that. The video I made wasn't just supposed to be gripes about why I didn't like Xillia being the next remaster. It was just more that I get why everybody's upset. I just wish we didn't need to be so over the top and like angry about it. Guys, Berseria sucked. It was a terrible game. I hated it. I didn't like it at all. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody, and I'm a huge fan of this series. But I gotta be honest, it just didn't do it. The combat wasn't fun. And as I said about 100 times in that older video, I think that job specialization is really freaking important for a JRPG. I want a mage who does mage shit and not other shit. But the way the modern Tales games are going, every character kind of needs to stand on its own and be its own thing and be able to stand out like a full-on character, which some people love. I got a lot of comments saying, hey, we love that. We love that our mage can also do melee attacks and vice versa. We like our magic swordsman. Agree to disagree. Oh, and I guess they're pissed off. They changed a cutscene, it looks like. So in the original version, right in the beginning, Artorias kills Laphicet. And I mean, while it's a minor change, I kind of agree with the articles that I'm reading. I don't think this is gonna make a huge difference. Like, it doesn't change Velvet's motivations at all. But a change of that nature is gonna piss off anybody. People start screaming censorship, and you got a whole bunch of new problems on your hands. I mean, in the Zillia one, and I didn't even know too much about this, I guess there was like a costume. So, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I believe the only change that was really made was there were certain costumes that had pieces on it, like a pipe for smoking tobacco, that was removed because they didn't want to advertise in a kid's game people smoking tobacco, even if it was just a pipe. Like, I think it was a mustache with a pipe, and then it was just a pipe. I don't know, I really didn't look into it further than that because I am not going to play it. Censorship argument aside, it seems like the reason they were doing this was to keep the ratings consistent. We have, obviously, all over the world has different rating standards for games. In order to keep them all the same, they had to, the word they keep using is soften the impact of these scenes. I guess all in all, to me, it makes sense why they would do this. I don't think anybody can seriously look at this and say, wow, they probably dumped every development resource that they had into remastering a Windows game that was released on Windows and Sony consoles onto Sony and Windows consoles. Please be serious. That's all I'm saying. I don't think this really warrants the meltdown that I've been seeing all over the internet about it from this franchise that, again, I just want to keep saying, absolutely love dearly, more than I could express. Thanks so much for checking out my video.